everybody. Welcome to the Sharon and Joe Show. My name is Sharon.
Hello, hello. My name is Joe.
So we're sitting here. We're all set. We have our little table in the driveway. We have our Dunkin' Donuts coffees,
Yes.
right? We're good. We're good to go.
And
Now,
a plane just passed overhead, so good thing that one didn't get it recorded.
yes, it's a good thing we're starting now.
Mm-hmm.
And now all we need is, we have Sharon and Joe, so now we just
Yep.
need, and we got the chickens behind us,
Yep.
right? We got 4 chickens behind us, so now we just need a topic.
Yeah, so we were talking, took a drive in a park a couple days ago, and I think one of us asked a question, is like, what do you think the narcissists are thinking? And I thought about it for a little bit, and it's like, I don't know, because I'm not a narcissist, you know? I mean, we have their playbook. We kind of know how they act out. We have an idea of, what they're thinking, but I'm not a narcissist. Like, our minds as empaths are wired differently, you know? And I was talking with Sharon a little bit about, I remember a couple years ago when I first found out about narcissism, and I was coming out of this entanglement. I used to listen to a lot of videos where it appealed to my emotions and my ego, like the narcissist will miss you forever, and the narcissist is ruminating for you forever, no contact, and it really like made me feel better about myself, and like just my ego, like I was going to throw on a pair of headphones and listen to some Rocky music, go run 10 miles and live my life.
The narcissist misses you desperately.
Yeah, and yet then tried to kind of spread my tentacles out there or put up the receiver to see if that's really the case. And is she really like, is she, what do they call that? It's been so long.
Devastated beyond belief.
Yeah,
can't function without you.
Are they coming around? And are they, whatever they call it?
Maybe they'll take us back.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And it was just, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was kind of stunting my growth. And I think you have to go through whatever it is that you got to go through. I'd be interested in seeing like a common timeline in things, an empath in recovery from an NPD relationship, what they're going through, denial, acceptance, and all this stuff. But that was one of them. I thought it was kind of silly.
Well, I think it's just natural. You know, when you're going through, I was going to say withdrawal, that's what Joe's saying is like an addiction. If you're going through withdrawal from the narcissist, you're completely focused on the narcissist. What are they thinking? What are they doing? When really it makes you feel good, right? Like, oh my gosh, the narcissist they're dying without me. There's no contact is killing them.
Yeah, there's no supply and this and that, and they need supply like they need air, and they're thinking about me as much as I'm thinking about them, kind of deal. And
what do you think, Joe?
I don't think that's the case, man. It's funny. I've listened to some videos a few years back. There was supposed self-aware narcissists, which I'm sure there's a few out there, a handful, and they would say that's not the case, man. Like it's out of sight, out of mind. If you have another supply that takes over, and they found a different source to keep them busy, they could give 2 shits less about you. That's not like you left them desperate, or they're never going to get back up off the ground. And I would listen to it, and I would kind of get my ego bruised a little bit. Like, well, and at the same time, like, you got these videos out, and some of these people that were self-aware were narcissists are like, listen, some of these quote-unquote empaths that are making these, like, are narcissists themselves, and they're not even aware of it. And I was like, huh. So I just started paying attention, and some of these videos, I would see these, quote-unquote empaths, but Jesus, like, they were... The one was basically dressed in a bikini that was doing the video, and the other one's got like his sunglasses on and a Corvette, and I'm thinking to myself, and they're trying to appeal to my emotional thinking, and my emotional thinking was part of the problem,
Well, Joe actually started my true recovery for me, because I think that you're right, because I think at first when you're still with the narcissist or just getting over them at the very beginning, you are so confused. What is going on? I can remember Like that, I don't even know a better word to say than confusion. It made no sense to me. Why is this person acting this way? Then you find out about narcissism and you become obsessed learning about it. Like Joe always says, we have the equivalent of a PhD and learning about narcissism, and that's so true. And then at some point, you become fixated and you're so well versed on narcissism that you forget. And Joe started this with me. The real issue when you're dealing with a narcissist is you.
Yeah, the problem is, in my experience and many others I know to be true, is the true problem was between my ears.
Yeah, and I just want to interrupt just for a second. When I say the problem is you, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean the recovery isn't, you can't recover focusing on the narcissist.
Put it this way, like if you have about 2% honesty, your best thinking got you here. Now,
it's painful to hear this.
For those that have been maybe dating a narcissist for a couple of weeks, God bless you. I was married for 20 years, and somehow, some way, my addiction to the narcissist, like, eliminated all red flags, eliminated everything. I rationalized everything. We say how delusional and how much in denial narcissists are. I speak for myself. This empath had a lot of issues, more issues than a box of Kleenex tissues. The one question that I asked myself after I went no contact was, after about 2 or 3 months, if my ex was the problem and she's out of my life, why the hell am I so miserable? That is what cracked the door open enough. Like my heart, I had to have a broken heart, so to speak, enough to let the sunlight of the spirit in to start seeing the truth, which was the biggest problem I had to face was me. And then when I realized how screwed up I am, it scared me. I was like, screw the damn ex. Like, I got 2 kids to raise, and I'm nuts. Yeah. And I'm just being frank with you. Like, I was quietly going insane. And I was just like, and that shift in perspective away from what's she thinking, is she hoovering? Yeah, I saw her hoover. So, and trying to figure out how she's thinking, it started shifting towards, oh my God, man, I'm responsible for a couple of kids, and I don't always know what's best for me. What the hell do I got to do? And that simple shift is where the recovery process started.
Well, you started it with me, for me, because I was completely focused. This is the thing. I wasn't brokenhearted, but I was obsessed nonetheless. And part of it was just, partly it's my personality. I need to know something. I need to be able to figure it out. And Joe said to me one day, so Sharon, like, what was your part in this? And what do you mean my part in it? I was married to a narcissist. That's the problem. And then, he said, yeah, but why did you stay with somebody that abused you for 20 years? You know what I mean? And when he said that, it's like what you said, like, maybe I'm not emotionally healthy. Maybe something's wrong with me. Why did I? And then I think about my kids, like our daughter, right? Could you imagine her, like, being with a narcissist? I said to Joe, if Paris is with a narcissist and she's telling me these things, my first thought wouldn't be, what's wrong with him? It would be, what's wrong with her?
Yeah, why? It opened the door to recovery. I knew enough that my best thinking got me in this position, and that I needed something bigger than myself to get me out. And to be frank with you guys, I was beyond human aid. Like, I had friends and family that loved me, but I needed to build a relationship with my Creator, my God, to understand, like, what am I really here for? And he helped rewire the brain. I heard a lot from people in recovery. It's like the dots started connecting. Then I forget about their childhood trauma. How about my own? And oh my God, my mother, God bless her, who was an alcoholic, also was a narcissist. When the dots start connecting, really, I believe what's happening is those synapses in the brain are being rewired, and it's starting to kind of focus on you and your walk in life, because we, as I said before, we have the playbook to the narcissist. We don't know everything that they think. I mean, so many things are contradicting. I forgot the name, and somebody listening out there will remember it because it's been so long since I concentrated and focused on them. The obsession has been lifted. But when out of sight, out of mind, there's a psychological term for it. And people that had experience in narcissistic relationships would say, when you're out of sight, you're out of mind to the narcissist. That's why they find it easy to cheat and this and that. But at the same time, they were like, the narcissist is devastated. I'm like, well, if you're out of sight, out of mind, they have another supply, then how are you telling me that they're devastated? It just doesn't make any sense. And I stopped caring less about the narcissist.
Yeah, the thing about the narcissist is that, for those of you that have children, it like for our kids, it's almost like to them that we began our existence when they were born. Like there was no past. It's like from their existence on, they don't think of us as the past. It's kind of like that with a narcissist. What they do to us, they take away who we used to be. They're like, when I was talking to Joe one day, and I know I've mentioned to you guys before that a big issue I had with my ex was that he was always telling me people didn't like me. Like they didn't like me, there was something wrong with me, somebody was giving me a funny look. And Joe said, well, was this always how it was, like before your ex? And no, like I actually had friends before my ex. Do you know what? But I didn't think that way. To me, it was like, what started when I met my ex was who I was. Past Sharon didn't exist anymore.
There was a part of us that was broken long before we met the narcissist. And whatever was broken, I believe, manifested from the internal in us and our own trauma externally. And I believe that's how I met the narcissist, was that it was an outward manifestation. It was life trying to teach me and overcome my codependency and my low self-worth, the trauma that I had when I was a child. And as I began to understand and learn wisdom and discernment, my experience served well. And I had to go through whatever it is I had to go through to get here. But, I remember, like, in this car ride a couple days ago when I was watching some of those videos and how they appealed to my ego. And this isn't one of those things where I had a normal girlfriend or wife that cheated on me and left me and she's normal, I'm normal, everything's good, where I could use my ego to help fuel me to go forward, because I believe the ego is there for a reason. This is a spiritual battle where the ego serves no purpose, really. An acronym in this case with narcissistic abuse is ego would be easing God out. I couldn't throw on the headphones and go for the run and go to the gym and become this great person when you're dealing with an ancient force that's very evil, that's been around since the beginning of mankind.
Well, I think, Joe and I have talked before about when you're dealing with narcissism, when you're dealing with the narcissist in recovery from it, moving on, it's spiritual warfare. That not that the narcissist is stronger than us, but whatever it is, like Joe and I, we're Christians, we believe it's Satan, like we just do, that Satan is really controlling a narcissist. And just like if you watch these nature shows, Joe and I watch sometimes, and you'll see that the apex predator will take the weak animals because that's easy. So like what we're trying to say tonight is we were that weak animal and we got snared by the narcissist, and we can only recover by seeing this and having and working with God. Working with God
and others. So there's an instinct, it's called the herd instinct. I forgot the psychologist that named it, but like Sharon had mentioned, if you guys watch Discovery or National Geographic and you watch the wildebeest going through like a part of Egypt, trying to like during the dry season, getting over the river, crossing the Nile to get to the other side where everything's green and they can eat. There's a whole like pride of lions following and watching, looking for that weak one or the old one kind of strangling behind. And I do believe like Dr. Hare, who was a famous psychiatrist and actually wrote a list in the DSM-5 for sociopathy and psychopathy calls them intraspecies predators.
That's it. You introduced me to that. That's incredible.
Yeah,
it's so accurate.
And this dude, like he's top of the line when it comes to NPD and like.
But think about that.
Cluster
You're
B.
with a narcissist. You're with a predator.
Yeah, you're and so it's not only a relationship I had to build with my creator, but it was a relationship with you guys, and it was important that I found a tribe or a home where we weren't like saying, yeah, I know what the narcissist is thinking right now, and we're not trying to contradict what's going on. It's about getting to a point where you realize how messed up you are.
And it's not, like, I feel weird saying that because, I mean, Joe and I have both been through this. And the reality is that, thank God, we already know the outcome. You work with God, your outcome is going to be favorable. But there was something in all of us that got us with the narcissist and then stayed with the narcissist when they were abusing us. It's crazy, but it becomes normal to you, and then you end up forgetting about yourself. So you don't even think, why am I with this person? It's, what's wrong with this person? How can I make this person better? You know what I mean?
Well, they're so multi-level effed up that it's very easy and normal to be like, holy crap, these people are jacked. We didn't know the name to put on them or a label, but we knew like something ain't right. It's, and I don't mean to say anybody. I speak for myself and my experience, truly. For me, I was very disturbed because, we talk about the narcissist being in denial and their supply. Well, we have many traits that are similar. The one trait that I believe that truly separates us is we have empathy, whereas they have little to none, if any, cognitive empathy. But was I in denial? Absolutely. Were they a source of my supply? If I'm honest with myself, yeah. If she was cheating on me, or if she called me a loser, or this or that, yeah, it affected my entire day, sometimes the week, sometimes the month. So enough about how screwed up they are. They're always going to be where they're at. They're in a loop. Well, the dangerous part is we're in a loop. You want to talk about like unconscious people. I've been in recovery from drugs and alcohol for many years. Have gone to like counseling, and 17, 18 years sober, I realized that I was codependent. It just wasn't a word. The dots connected when I was trying to recover from something much deeper. And, I think we're saying this is because I got stuck on those videos that said, yeah, you're doing great. And maybe I needed it. I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not a narcissist, and I can't tell you how they think. I have an idea of how they operate, but it's like saying what Sharon mentioned, the lion. I'm not a lion, so I truly can't tell you how a lion thinks. That wouldn't be right for me to say. I've studied lions and done some research on them, but I'm not a lion.
Yeah, well, that's the truth. When we're dealing with a narcissist, there are some realities, and basically, if you're going to go through the recovery process, it's going to be painful. But if you focus on yourself,
it helped
me. Me too. Like, why would I? Like, it bothers me actually.
Yeah, it's disturbing.
Yeah, why did I do this?
And I don't mean to tell anybody out there like you have to know how screwed up you are, but I think it gets to a point where if you do realize how effed up you are, like, you're going to be disturbed enough, especially if, like me, I had two children and some animals, and I'm responsible for some people. And I was like, holy crap, like, I don't even know what's best for me.
You lose yourself.
Yeah,
in these relationships,
and then you become,
entanglements.
the more you get involved in, like, recovery in an ironic way, and I don't mean this, like, selfish, but it's like you're dealing with your true self and trying to heal whatever was broken inside you that attracted a predator to you. Now, some people might say it wasn't my fault. Like, God bless you. If I stayed stuck on that, I wouldn't be here. I'd be dead, because I'd still be blaming and saying I'm not a victim, but truly believing inside. It's just, you hear people. I've been away from my narcissist for 3 years, and I met somebody else, and I'm not sure, and they're doing this, and this, and I don't hear anything in there about I overcame a lot of trauma in my own life, and I was a pretty screwed up person, even in my adulthood. I might have been 45, but emotionally, I think I was still 22. When you don't hear anything about them and how screwed up they are and what they did to overcome that with God's help, it's like, to me, that's scary. It's like, wow, you don't even know like what got you there?
Yeah, if you
were tricked for like 10 years. You were with them. He tricked you, and there was absolutely no red flags, and you took the abuse, but it was the narcissist.
I can't even tell you how many times I've said that, right? Like, there were so many red flags with my ex, and I always had a reason why they weren't really a red flag. But that had more to do with me than him, and it's a very difficult thing to accept that at first. But guys, Joe and I, like, the life that we live now, post-narcissist, isn't it, like, how do you describe it, Joe? Because I feel like you're free. You can breathe.
You're free. It's not about recovery from narcissistic abuse for me. It's about recovery from my own childhood trauma and learning more about myself. And so, you know, and if nobody ever saw it, if anybody's out there, there's no red flags. They were perfect. They were just totally tricked. Then go to another channel. There's all kinds of channels out there that you want to go to. It's just, I realized that my emotional thinking and the addiction I had, I don't know if it was towards the narcissist or it was like the addiction was more, I came from a broken family. My father left when I was young. My mother was an alcoholic, a narcissist who took her own life. And I was addicted to making that come true. Like, and I don't mean come true because it almost did, to not make it come true, I guess, in my own life. So when I had my kids, I was willing to put up with absolutely anything, addicted to this chosen ideal I had of marriage.
Somebody, right?
That she wasn't, and that was the addiction. And, you know, in addiction, I know from recovery from alcohol and drugs, like the narcissist was just, to me, a symptom. Just like drugs and alcohol were a symptom, the root cause was deep down inside. And if I didn't address it, the chances of me switching seats in a Titanic, what I mean by that is finding somebody else and meeting another narcissist. Like, I had to go through the recovery of being honest enough with myself to say, am I a narcissist? And I had a checklist, and I looked at it all, and I was like, I don't think so. My kids love me. I'm a single dad. I'm far from perfect. Not an ideal empath. I'm screwed up. But I have empathy. I have insight. I take responsibility to the best of my ability, and I can make amends, which means to change if I do something wrong, not just say I'm sorry.
Well, I think, look at it this way. Imagine if you got in a car accident, like a drunk driver hit you and you broke your leg. You wouldn't spend all your time learning about alcoholism and why somebody would drive drunk. You'd be focused on your own recovery. And that's really what you need to do when it comes to this. The narcissist, Joe's right, the narcissist is they're always going to be the narcissist. Like our dogs, they're always going to be dogs, the cats.
Yeah.
We are empaths. We're not narcissistic, thank God. So we don't need to stay, I don't need to have my recovery based on what my dog would do. It's kind of, all right, this is who I am. And you learn who you are. And it's not horrible.
No, it's enlightening, actually.
Yeah.
It hurts first. But everything that comes to the light, it all starts with an awareness. And please, like, by all means, don't hide behind the word empath as if, like, we're good people.
Yeah, we're like...
There's a lot of jacked up asshole empaths out there. Like, we need to look at ourselves and see how screwed up we are and need, in my experience, God's help and other people's, so that I can learn to find peace and happiness in my life, because without that, there's no reason to live, and I'll be caught up in a loop just like the narcissist.
Well, like, Joe and I are in our 40s, and I've said to Joe before, it took so long to know who I am, to feel comfortable in my own skin. But once you do that work, it's so freeing. So don't be intimidated that, oh my gosh, it's so painful. I'm messed up. What's wrong with me? Everybody in the world has some issues. We're blessed to be able to recognize, the narcissist, like, look at it this way. In some ways, they benefited us because we probably never would have known. Imagine, Joe, like you and I still with our exes. I mean, what type of life that would be. Now, we're, like, Joe and I talk about everything. We're, like, open and honest, and we're trying to be the best that we can be for ourselves, each other, our kids. And I think today, I've told Joe before, it was worth everything to have the life that I have today.
Yeah, we went through whatever we had to go through, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So I guess we just wanted to get it out there, you guys. As soon as I started thinking logically, meaning, okay, this doesn't make sense. How many times did she cheat on me? How many times did I take her back? How many times did I allow this to happen? How many times did I react like abusive reaction and say things I didn't want to say and become a person I didn't want to become and blame it on her,
Well, it's kind of funny to me in a way where Joe and I, now we both have been through the same thing. And this happened to both of us. Joe would tell me things with his ex, right? Like, oh, she cheated on me this many times, right? And I've thought to myself, why would you stay?
Yeah, what the hell's wrong with
you?
you?
Yeah, exactly. And then you did the same thing to me when I'm talking about all these
silent treatment. Yeah. So Sharon's like, yeah, I had silent treatment too. And I was like, oh, really? And I was thinking like a couple days or a week. And I was like, so how long did you have it? She's like 7 months. And immediately I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? You stayed with them? I didn't say it out loud, but immediately, thank God, the thought afterwards, Joe, you're no one to speak.
Exactly the same thing happened to me. You're talking about cheating on you, and I'm like, how could you possibly stay with this
Or not
person?
only that, but we look at each other and you're like, you're so far above that. You're not even in the same league. Yet we leveled down.
Yeah.
We leveled down to meet them lower instead of allowing people to level up where you're at. Having your hand out, saying, come on up. I had a talk with my son a couple weeks ago about let the people that want to be in your life, let them level up to you. You have your ideals and your beliefs, and you don't like sacrifice that for nobody.
Yeah.
And to thine own self be true, as Shakespeare said. And thank God he kind of was able to listen and not just hear with his ears.
Yeah, I agree. Joe and I have said many times we've paid for our children too. Like the cost that it took for us, that is unbelievable. So we paid for our kids too. So Joe and I were like, our kids are well versed on narcissism.
Yeah, and not only that, you guys, as Sharon said, we paid, but we also were given mercy.
Yes.
Because, as I said, just because we're empaths don't mean we're saints. And there's so many mistakes and things that we've done, and our faith helps us see it through it. But, yeah, we thought we'd throw that out there. If you guys got any questions or if you have anything that you want us to talk about next week, man, just throw it out there.
Yeah, let us know. We're always open to what you guys want to hear.
Yep.
So I guess, Joe and I, what should we do now?
Go for a walk.
Yeah, that sounds good. Go for a walk, cuddle in bed, watch a movie.
Yep, that sounds awesome.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys on Wednesday.